coming to an end. It's always been coming.
Housing prices are crashing. Or are they?
Crashing?
Are they crashing or are they skyrocketing? Stick around to find out.
Ooh.
Mortgage rates, housing affordability. Is it getting better or is it getting worse? Do you want it to get better?
Through the roof.
Housing affordability?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. No.
Don't give it away.
Huh?
Don't give it away. Is affordability better or worse? Don't.
If you have a life raft, start blowing it up. We'll put it that way. I'm not going to give anything away.
Tease the people, Al. Tease the people. Don't give them what they want.
Dig up your life savings.
Welcome back to another episode of That Mortgage Show. This is episode. We don't number them.
I don't know. Well, we're up there now. When you get to this point, I mean, it's a thing now. It's a thing. We don't even have to number them.
It is a thing.
We don't even have to number them.
Yeah.
You know?
Does the Tonight Show say episode 704? No. They're just like, welcome back to the Tonight Show.
And we are the mortgage version of the Tonight Show.
And you're Jimmy Kimmel. You're all of them wrapped up in the...
I'll take Conan.
Welcome back to another episode of That Mortgage Show, live with Adam and Al. It is February 14th, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day.
Wearing my pink. Ab's not wearing his pink. He's wearing his black. He's very grim, dull, kind of back in the shadows.
What do you say we get into some of the content here, Alvin?
Sounds
Big
good.
week. Roller coaster ride. It just never stops. It's a never-ending hand of blackjack when you're sitting here watching mortgage rates going up and down all day.
Not to mention everything that's going on in the government as is. It's just headline after headline. If you read the funny papers, 5 minutes late, you're already behind. There's already something else come out.
Yep. And then there's people like us. We're probably guilty of it, but there's people like us that get on YouTube and Instagram and jump on every trend. And so CPI report comes out and they jump on there and they scream and shout. And then the next day, everything settles in and it's not the catastrophe that everybody is spouting off about. So sometimes it's best just to call us up and say, what's my rate today?
Yeah.
You know? When it is relative or necessary, relevant. It's the first thing on the docket today, Alvin. We got the CPI report this week. CPI report came out, Consumer Price Index. Report showed that inflation ticked up to 3%. Remember, the Federal Reserve, their target's 2%. Their battle for inflation is to get it to 2%. Ticked up 3% in January. Slightly higher than expected. Prices for food and gas went up, with egg prices spiking 15% in just 1 month due to the avian flu outbreak. Those little aviators.
Well, I don't know. I heard that you can't get it from eggs. It's just what I heard. I have no
idea. But are
idea.
They producing less eggs?
Maybe.
They're dying.
I don't know.
Supply and demand thing?
When you have the flu, are you producing less eggs?
You better believe it. All right, so real quick, I want to jump over to YouTube and watch some of the fine folks.
U.S. inflation accelerated faster than economists had predicted in January. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, rose 0.5% for the month. It's also up by 3% since last January. The report shows fuel, auto insurance, and egg prices all factored into the increase. Some product prices did decrease in January, so that includes fruits and veggies, particularly tomatoes and cereal and bakery products. Baby. CBS News Money Watch correspondent Kelly
Let's just take a moment here to fuck yeah, veggies.
Yeah, right? Okay, eat some veggies. Maybe, you know what? RFK got confirmed, okay? This is a great time to be a vegetable in this country.
It's a great time to be a vegetable in this country. Not a vegetable after like a car accident or anything like that. I think I'm
No.
Carrots,
awful.
celery,
God bless those folks. Yeah.
Radishes.
Yeah, absolutely. All that stuff. It's good. Well, I mean, you're going to get eaten if you're a vegetable in this country. And again, food vegetable. You're going to get eaten. So it's a great time.
Let's see what this lady, she's probably Wharton School of Business grad, has to say about the veggies.
Grady joins us now on set in Studio 57. So, Kelly, what does this tell you about
Studio 57, Al? Big time. All right.
Big time
inflation
studio.
and the overall economy? So it tells me we're moving in the wrong direction.
The wrong direction, Al?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Coming out of the gates that hot with that kind of negativity, it's got to go up from here, right?
It doesn't seem like they're as excited about the veggies as us. Let's see what the ladies have to say. There's a
no idea how to take a negative and turn it into a positive.
Yeah, I mean, get us on the daily report, man. We'll lift people's spirits, but they're important. They're in a very fancy thing.
Yeah.
She's wearing a suit, and there's the world is behind them.
A lot of colors, a lot of blue.
Right. The Federal Reserve is looking for 2%, and we have ticked up for the past few months. We are going in the wrong direction. And it also tells me the items that you just mentioned, inflation is remaining what we like to call sticky.
They like to call it sticky.
I like to call it sticky.
Yeah, you know, we can't.
It's
I think
my thing.
Yeah, it's our thing. It's CBS News or whoever. Yeah, CBS News Daily Report. That's infringement on our usage of sticky.
Mm-hmm.
In those need to have areas, shelter, energy, food, you can't decide not to eat 1 month. And I actually am
It's actually a really good point.
It's a really good point.
You know, you can't decide not to eat. Sometimes you want to decide.
You can decide what to eat, and I'll tell you what you can eat. What can you eat, Ab? What can you eat plenty of right now?
Veggies. Because the price is down,
can.
and we're gonna maha this. It's what a beautiful moment, you know, for veggies and for the maha movement.
Yeah, absolutely.
For our conversation, I went back and I looked at, okay, right before the crisis happened with this inflation crisis, this is 4 years ago, where we were versus where we were now. In total, prices have increased 20.7%. Wow. The reason why that's important.
Oh, wow. Did you hear her? Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, so you get the point, 20%. Right?
Yeah.
They get the point. Viewer gets the point.
Doom and gloom.
Yeah. You get the point, Alvin. So CPI report came out. Inflation's up. Stock market reacted. Investors. And the investors were pissed. You know, you walking in an alley and you have a choice to go down an alley with Mike Tyson or investors. You want to go down the one with Mike Tyson. You're going to have choose Tyson. The investors are not happy because stocks dropped with higher inflation, pointing to less likelihood of the Federal Reserve lowering rates. Stock market dips. Investors go nuts. The Federal Reserve is sticking to their higher interest rate stance for now, trying to keep inflation under control. So, I mean, they claimed they had inflation tackled. I mean, they claimed it. We're not worried about inflation. We're moving on to the labor market.
They're not going to touch the Fed rate until they see, I think, some job. They just go, you know, when the jobs report comes back and it's atrocious, and then that's the only time that they're going to be like, okay.
It was pretty atrocious last week.
It's going to have to be consistent. We're going to need a couple more of those.
Yep.
I don't think it was atrocious. It was down, but it wasn't atrocious. We don't need, again, we root for America. Root for America.
You need an atrocity.
We root for America, but if there's one thing that we could point at, it would be that, which we actually might get with all these, you know.
The labor market's we'll see. You're right. And we don't need anything. We don't need or root for anything. We're just telling you what the Federal Reserve says they need in order to lower rates. And that's an atrocity in the labor market. Nobody's saying depression or recession, just an atrocity. Economists are also worried that inflation could stay higher for longer, making things tougher for businesses and consumers. The 10-year Treasury, which we follow closely here in the mortgage industry, ticked up to its highest it's been in a couple weeks. Day of the inflation report jumped to 4.64%. I jumped on some locks worrying about that. And I'm kind of kicking myself now because the 10-year's back down. So, you know, you do what you can. The 10-year has recovered
since in this economy not to jump on that. Every opportunity when you're like, this is the perfect time to lock, you got to do it.
Well,
I mean,
it's
you've been caught the other way, right? You get caught with your pants down when you should have locked one day, and then it goes up, and then, you know, that stays up for a couple weeks. You miss your window to lock, and then you can't close on time, right?
Well, plus it's also like when something like that happens and it's going crazy, it's almost like damage control,
right?
So let's pop over real quick.
Pop over.
And do a live look. We'll do a live look at the 10-year real quick.
Yeah, the 10-year.
Look at the 10-year. Did you look at it? All right, so what do we got here, Alvin? 10-year's down to 4.449. This is down from 4.64 on Wednesday. So it's great. It's good. If this keeps up, we should see rates get back below 7. It's just kind of like frustrating and
right now, just so everybody knows, rates are just a hair over 7 right? You're probably looking at about what, like around 7.125, somewhere in there. That's pretty much what you're looking at for rates at this point.
Yeah, and it's just a whole lot of nothing. It's just a whole lot of nothing. It's been a whole lot of nothing for years. They're they're a tad above or a tad below 7.
Yeah,
we're out of the woods as far as like the crazy 8s, and we're not on easy street with rates in the 5s.
There's no significant moves as far as interest rates go. So what happens is people are really making a big fuss over the little things. When it ticks up just a hair, it's like rates are up. You know what I mean? I mean, they're not really. They've pretty much stayed pretty consistent, right?
They've been
right
extremely
7,
consistent
between 6.875 and 7.125, right? You maybe say 7.25, right in that range. But no significant movement. But because there's no movement, there's nothing exciting to talk about. People, any small little movement, people, turn it into a big thing. It's not a big thing. It's not a big thing.
It's not a big thing. And that's the world we live in today where, we try to put out a level-headed show. We try to put out a show where it's like we're just looking at what's going on and we're not getting too crazy. We joke around. But there's people on YouTube. If you follow them, like one day it's like rates are going, especially like lenders and real estate people, rates are up. Is this the end of our hopes for low rates? And then the very next day they put out a video that is like the rates are plummeting and the rates are up. What you wouldn't even have noticed if you're in process.
Right.
You wouldn't even have noticed the rate going up or down. So as far as the Federal Reserve is concerned and their higher for longer stance and they're not lowering their rate stance, that might not really matter to us. And here's why. The Treasury Secretary, Trump's appointed Treasury Secretary, came out and said this week that we don't need the Fed to lower their rate because my main goal is to drive down the 10-year Treasury yield. If his main goal is to drive down the 10-year Treasury yield, the Treasury yield will drive down interest rates and all kinds of things, notably the mortgage rates, but also consumer borrowing rates, business borrowing rates. It impacts everything. And his plan, as far as this article states, is it's a 3-3-3 strategy, Alvin. A good old 3-3-3 strategy.
The old 3-3-3, man.
3-3-3.
Dust off the playbook.
I call that the lacrosse field. You got 3 attackmen, 3 midfields, and 3 defensemen. The old lax
dying to get
strat.
Back. You're such a freaking laxer, dude. You always have been.
Lax or die. So the 3-3-3 strategy, aiming for 3% GDP growth, cutting the deficit to 3% of GDP, and boosting U.S. oil production by 3 million barrels per day. The idea is that lower energy costs and more efficient government will help cool inflation and bring rates down naturally. So that would be great.
Did they allude to a time frame on that?
They did not allude to a time frame, but their intentions are to drive that 10-year down. If it's at their top of mind priority, then just by default, we're going to see some improvements, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, not to get everybody too excited, I don't, still don't anticipate things this year getting below 6.5, right? I think it's probably the basement for expectations as far as what will happen with rates this year. Who the hell knows with this administration? They're coming in, they're slashing, they're cutting like a bunch of samurais.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But I would say, I wouldn't expect anything, crazy low. But keep in mind, right? This is the one thing that we stress every single show, every time we talk, every time we open our mouths, we stress this. Once the rates come down, the values will go up. Values, as Adam said earlier, maybe kind of leveling out a little bit right now. You've seen them come down a touch, but we know once the rates come down, values are going to go up, right? So don't wait for the rates to come down.
Don't wait. It's a losing game. It's something that we've echoed quite a bit in this show, but it bears repeating. So thank you, Al, for repeating it. It's far too often that there's people that are like, I would love to buy a house, and they just don't do it. Like, aren't you just tired of just not doing stuff? Why don't you just do stuff?
Just do something.
Just do something.
Quit
Doesn't really
talking
matter.
about it. Just do it. Tired of people not doing stuff, you know? Don't waste our time. Don't waste our time with the, you know, on again, off again, on again, off again. Buy now, refi later. Buy now, refi later. You know?
Couple things that we got going on. A couple cool things. One thing that I want to talk about, Alex. Al. May I call you Al?
Call me Xander.
Okay, Xander. So one thing that you know, Cornerstone definitely leans into is technology and being tip of the spear when it comes to that stuff. Last week we had a meeting about a software plugin to our loan operating system that is insane.
Yeah.
It is a software that is tied into Guideline, and it can analyze W-2's pay stubs. That's kind of neat and cute, but not very impressive. The thing that's cool is its ability to analyze tax returns and bank statements. I have a bank statement loan right now. We're using 2 years bank statements, 24 months bank statements. I want to derive an income from those bank statements. So this person doesn't file taxes or is exempt or whatever. Or, I don't know. Maybe they get creative on their tax returns. You know what I mean? And
which fine by us. We don't care.
That we can't. But here's the thing: we can't derive income from a bogus tax return or a tax return that's you write off everything. Yeah. So we got to go bank statements. So I got 2 years of bank statements, 24 bank statements, right? I go to the income desk. I'm like, hey, you know, can you show me how to use this? They're like, yeah, let's stick it in here. We put it in the software. In 5 minutes, it has every item, every transaction of 2 years on an Excel, off the bank statements on an Excel spreadsheet, flagged, you know, anomalies, deposits, highlighted what it believes is the job deposits, throughout the expenses, and derived an income in 5 minutes. And it's programmed to and based on Guideline. So it's ready for underwriting. An underwriter gets in there. The work is already done. This work, taking line items off of 24 bank statements, would take an underwriter 2 days, a day and a half. And this thing did it in 5 minutes, and I was able to issue a pre-approval in 5 minutes, and I was able to have extreme confidence in it because it is the exact program that the underwriter is going to use as their, you know, first line of defense. Of course, human eyes are going to get on it and make sure that everything's right, but the efficiency, you know, we have here in the government, they have DOGE, we have DOME, Department of Mortgage Efficiency. Dome.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, again, to your point, it's not, you know, doesn't necessarily help when you get somebody who's a salaried employee, right? It's the easiest thing in the world to calculate that income. Somebody comes to you and like, hey, I need a pre-approval by within an hour so I can put this offer in, right? Somebody you've been talking to and you're like, hey, I need you to get me your stuff so I can pre-approve you. And they're like, we're not really ready yet. And then all of a sudden they call you on a Saturday at 12 o'clock and say, we need offers in by 1 o'clock. You got to send me a pre-approval. It's like, we haven't got me any of your shit. I need you. You know what I mean? I got to pre-approve you. I need the numbers. And they're not self-employed, right? Or they are self-employed, or they have some sort of crazy income. This is fantastic because every loan officer has been in that situation when it's like, okay, well, now they just drop a bunch of garbage on your desk and expect you to figure it out and tell them what they can qualify for.
Yeah, right? Well, the sticky ones, the hairy ones, like you know, you're not issuing pre-approval. You're making the agent aware, like, hey, I gotta get some stuff from them before I would go out guns blazing. So hopefully you don't find yourself in that situation. But we've all been there. It happens, no matter the best of us. There. I love that. I love that when that happens because it's such a great opportunity to like step up and save the day. And I love that. I love the opportunity to go above and beyond for my clients.
Sure, it's fantastic, but it's also extremely stressful. And what if you got your kid's birthday party, right, going on? And
dude, I wrote a pre-approval at the counter at my kid's birthday party last weekend.
Okay.
Now, granted,
approval the day I came home with my second born child. I was working on I did a pre-approval within an hour of being home.
I saw an old lady walking into traffic, and I had the opportunity to save her life, but instead, I did a pre-approval. So can you one up that?
Did you get the deal?
Didn't get the deal, fell through, but
I had the exact same situation. Got the deal.
Got to get the deal. Okay. All right. Yep.
You know,
Turns out my old lady also had the key to curing cancer locked in her brain.
And you let her go?
I mean, I had to do the pre-approval.
I respect that. This guy goes above and beyond for his clients. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, no, but this technology is awesome, and this is the kind of stuff that we get all the time at Cornerstone. They're always finding different ways to make our jobs a little bit easier. You know what I mean? Because how much that's just, let's say on a regular day, right? Not even in the crazy scenario, just in a regular day, and you get, a little bit more of a difficult loan, you got to sit down and figure out that income. If you had to sit down and figure out that bank statement loan income so you can write a pre-approval, that's time consuming, right?
It's time consuming, and there's human error. There's human error. And
it takes away from the time that you could be doing outreach or follow-ups or working on conditions for another loan or whatever the case may be.
There's opportunity costs associated with being not as efficient as you can be. And then that's just the loan officer. Then you got the underwriter on the back end of it who is able to underwrite more in a more timely and efficient and accurate manner, and you're getting your loans cleared quicker. And it's the top down. The whole thing is just better.
Yeah. Much better process. So, no, that's awesome. And that goes hand in hand with, some of the other things that have come out that they've done to make our job a little bit easier. Like the mortgage lab. I don't even think we've talked about that, where we can show presentations to borrowers of, to a potential buyer or somebody that's looking to refinance, whoever it may be, options, for, if they wanted to do conventional 10% down, 20% down, FHA 3.5% down, show these three different options on the screen, and, they can see what the difference would be in terms of payment, what you pay in interest over the life of the loan, what's the most cost effective, what makes the most sense for them, right?
And you do it on a in the cloud, basically, on a website that updates when you update it, and they can be in there while you're there. But you create it; it's very easy. You publish it, and you send them a link via text, email, and all they have to do, they could be performing open heart surgery, and they have their phone. And the guy's stable, but he gets a ding, and he can check on his mortgage options mid open heart surgery.
So this is post-op that he's doing this?
This is like the nurse is cleaning up.
Okay.
And he's still in the room. He's done his job. He's coming down, and he gets a ding, and it's Al. Hey, Mr. Doc. Hey, Doc. I got your
Mr. Doctor.
Mr. Doctor, it's Al loan officer. But go ahead and check your options here for that $3 million house you want to buy. We got a 10% down, 20% down. We got you 50% down, and compare and contrast. And he's sitting there doing it, and the nurse is cleaning up your mess. And everybody's happy.
And then while he's looking at it, you're sitting there, you can actually highlight the things you want him to look at. Hey, take a look at this. See, look, this is the difference in principal and interest, and here's the difference in over the life of the loan, right? This is how much it's going to save you up front, right?
Beep.
So all
Beep.
these different things.
Beep.
You got a situation going on back there, and then you can tell him, hey, Doc, get back to it, right? And then you're saving people's lives. Right? Maybe it's the old lady that Abby let cross. It's the old lady that Abby let walk across the street because he had to work on a pre-approval. It didn't go through.
Yep, it's his pre-approval. Tell me that in some. What's that movie where it's like the whole thing is conjoined. Like the cop is saving the person under the truck, and it turns out to be the girl.
Oh God, what is that called? It's one word, isn't it?
I don't know. Forget it.
I know. I need it now. God bless it. I can't think of it.
Beep.
But the guy got his pre-approval. So,
hey Doc, can I yell clear? Put me on speaker. I want to be the one that yells clear.
Clear. Yeah, right. Doc, I'll give you half a point off on the call. So you let me yell clear.
I'll give you half a point off if you let me yell out the number of CCs. I need 40 CCs of adrenaline stat.
Man, still getting over it. I mean, down with the sickness.
All right, that's 28 minutes of our nonsense. What do you think?
Yeah. It's good stuff. So anyway, yeah, a lot of technology, a lot of technology to help us get our job done and make it easier for Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, Mr. and Mrs. Borrower to
Mr. and
digest
Mr. and Mrs. Hopeful Homeowner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Refinance Mortgage Refinancer.
Could be.
Mr. and Mr.
Could be.
Okay.
Be.
Mr. and Mr.
Could be.
Debt consolidation.
Ooh. Because they're Mr. and Mr. They got to be consolidating debt. They can't be buying a house.
I'm just trying to include everybody, man.
Okay. I respect that. I don't think it's nice to put people in a box, but either way, I'll tell you what. We got something for everybody, according to Abby, right? Whether you're straight and you have normal debt, or if you're gay and you have a ton of debt, apparently we can help you. So defend this.
The Treasury Secretary.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know this because this party doesn't necessarily play
identity politics.
But this Trump-appointed Treasury Secretary is the first openly gay one. The longer this goes on, the more likelihood I have of getting in trouble.
Dig yourself a grave, buddy. Definitely not getting any gay borrowers out of this. All right. Well, this has been a show. Valentine's Day show. So, you're going to watch Valentine's Day movie tonight, Ab?
No.
Nice.
I don't even know what that is.
Nice little rom-com with the wife. Didn't know if I know you're a big rom-com guy, always have been, but
I'm hoping that since my in-laws are in town, we can have a great family fun night. And then when the kids go down, if Erin's up for it, I'd love to take her down Town Square, get an ice cream cone, and ride the Ferris wheel. Because there's a Ferris wheel in my neighborhood right now. So
I'm telling you what, that's classic. What a classic guy. Take him back to the 1950s, right? That's all he wants to do. I love that.
I'd love to get stuck at the top of Ferris wheel with Erin and knowing my kids are safe, and just hopefully our phones are on the ground. Hopefully our phones are in like the slot where your shoes go for rides.
Yeah. Are you by any chance part of the movie The Notebook when this happens?
It's raining. Yeah. You better believe it's fucking raining. And it doesn't matter that it's raining and it's cold because our love keeps us warm.
Yeah. Well, I think I think that's more fun to talk about. I don't think you'd be singing the same tune if you were stuck at the top of fucking Ferris wheel in the rain.
All I know is that she'd be pissed.
Yeah. I think that'd be a little bit tougher for you to sell her on the fact that it's a fun thing that being stuck.
No, we're kissing in the rain and she's going, I can't quit you.
I see it going a little differently, but I hope for the best. I hope it happens to you, bub. I hope you get the Valentine's Day you deserve.
Yep. What's your perfect Valentine's Day look like?
Sitting on the couch watching a rom-com with the wife. I don't know. Kids are asleep. Maybe some ice cream. That's about it.
No Ferris wheel in the rain?
Ferris wheel in the rain. I'm not going. You're gonna be the only person on the Ferris wheel if it's raining. The Ferris wheel operator might not.
This rain's destroying my ice cream. It's terrible.
Yeah, you got an ice cream cone. Why? The Ferris wheel operator doesn't want to be around that. He doesn't want to get electrocuted trying to pull levers and push buttons.
Hey, you kidding me?
You know?
He is built for that.
I don't think so, bub. I don't think so at all. No Ferris wheel, no rain for me. Nice and comfy and cozy inside on the couch watching a nice rom-com.
Okay. All right. Well, it's gonna be 80 degrees, probably about 60 when I'm mid-air about 8:30 tonight with an ice cream cone. Just know it's gonna be 60 degrees, and I'm gonna be with my lovely wife. And that I'll send you a picture.
FaceTime me. FaceTime me.
All
right, Dad. It's been a show. Until next time, to all you fine folks out there, God bless.
God bless.
Call us if you need us.
All right.